Stoicheas just received one of the most unique bosses we've seen in a long time for Vanguard. In today's video, we're going to be doing a review on Veleno and Lascaria and see what this new Blitz order based archetype can do. What is up, card fighters, and welcome back to the Prime Vanguard channel. Now today we have a new archetype and deck to look at for Stoicheas. If you guys have been watching the channel long enough, you guys know that I'm a huge Stoicheas fan as well as a Stoicheas main, and anything related to the nation I always like to pick up on and give a try. And now we have an entirely new archetype for this clan that is going to be focused around Blitz orders. Now, Blitz orders habits that they have been picking up, I've been noticing that in a couple of past sets, as well as Divine Z introducing a bunch of Blitz orders for all the nations. But before we can make any final judgments, we're going to review all of the cards today, and I'm going to give my final thoughts on where I think this deck will stand in the future at the end of this video. So definitely stay tuned for that, and if you enjoy seeing content such as this, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Do not forget to hit the notification bell so you guys are always up to date on my newest videos coming out. Alright, now with that being said, we have an entirely new archetype here called Veleno, and it revolves around Lascaria. Now, Lascaria comes with their own new ride line with the following ability. We have our starter here, which is Time of Happiness Lascaria, your typical grade 0 D series starter, and things get interesting when you look at the grade 1. Now, the grade 1 unit is Days of Training Lascaria with the following ability. She states, auto, when this unit is rode upon by a grade 2 card with Lascaria in its card name, search your deck for up to one grade 2 or greater Blitz order without Regalia's piece, reveal it and put it into hand, and shuffle the deck. Now, like I stated earlier, this is going to be a Blitz order based archetype deck. It comes with its own unique Blitz order that's going to bring all of the strategy together once we get to that effect. Now, our grade 2 unit is Oath Upon Mother Sword Lascaria with the following ability. Auto, when this unit is rode upon by a grade 3 card with Lascaria in its card name, look at the top 5 cards of your deck, choose up to one normal unit with Veleno in its card name, or up to one Blitz order from among them, reveal it and put it into your hand and shuffle the deck. Like I stated, this is an entirely new archetype that adds your Blitz orders and Veleno pieces in the hand. The cool thing about this archetype is that it's completely free. It self-replaces the cards you're discarding to ride up, and with the new Ride Cycler cards from the set 1 of Divine Z, you're going to have a lot of ways of like recuperating card advantage with the new 50 card deck rule, so that this way you're not losing any card advantage and staying pretty neutral. The cool thing about here is the fact that we are compressing directly from decks, so increase our chances of seeing triggers and getting our Blitz order pieces, which will benefit other units that we'll see later. Now, I know I said I was going to reveal the Blitz order before the grade 3, but I think it's going to make more sense for what the grade 3 does when I reveal the Blitz order, so here it is. Effervescent Shadow Dream Blade, play this with cost Energy Blast 2. Choose a unit being attacked and it gets power plus 20,000 to the end of that battle. You can play one more Blitz order this turn. When you play this card, the number you can play increases. Now, this card is fantastic for a Blitz order. For those of you guys that do not play Blitz orders, I haven't run into them yet, you're only allowed to play one per battle phase during your opponent's turn, so therefore this Blitz order lets you keep amping up the number of Blitz orders you can play for the duration of the turn. And the cool thing about this is the fact that it stacks, so it seems to me that once you drop one you can play another and then keep playing another, and then obviously whatever Blitz orders you have in your hand, depending on how many you stack them for, will change the effects of what you want to do. And it's finally time we take a look at her, so here she goes. Sword Princess of Dream Blade Lascaria Veleno has the following ability. Continuous Vanguard Circle. During your turn, if you have 3 or more units with Veleno in their card name, all of your units with Veleno in their card names get power plus 5,000. If you have 5 or more and your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, this unit gets critical plus 1. Auto Vanguard Circle. At the end of the battle, your unit was attacked and was not hit. If you played a Blitz order that battle, draw a card. And if you did not countercharge this turn, countercharge 1. Holy smokes. Now, the first ability is pretty simple. It gives 5k to your entire board and then gives her plus 1 crit as long as all your stuff is with Veleno. So 5,000 power to the board, Persona Ride plus 10, that's pretty tight, right? She also gets plus 1 critical, which means that she herself pressures even harder with the additional power from her own effect on top of a booster. So you can swing 31,000 consistently with a crit to your opponent and then use your card effects to get you Blitz orders to play defensively so you commit more cards to the board. Now, that's it for Veleno's first ability. We're going to talk about the second one. We have to. Now, it states that when your unit is being attacked and does not get hit, which means anything in the front row or anything that's being attacked, and you use the Blitz order for that battle, you get to draw a card, and if you didn't countercharge, you get to countercharge 1. Now, the countercharge is once per turn because it says if you did not countercharge, but the draw is not. So what that means is if you're using the Blitz order that comes with the Veleno archetype, and then you use that, and then you use another Blitz order to stop another attack, that means that you essentially are in the neutral with your card advantage because your Blitz orders will just keep recycling themselves out with the new cards you draw into, which is pretty cool. So that means that defensively speaking, you're not losing any card advantage. And then if you use one of the Blitz orders that have a counterblast cost into it, like the Blitz order that counterblast 2 subtracts a crit from your opponent's Vanguard. You can essentially countercharge 1 from that, and then you can use your other Blitz orders again. That's pretty cool. I actually really do like that. It's a really strong defensive skill that keeps your card advantage in the neutral. And then looking at some of the Blitz orders we already have for Stoicheas, such as the following. I think that these three here are going to be the ones that are going to help you the most. You know, they help you draw a card, recuperate the card advantage. The other one gets you back a unit back to your hand and gives you power. And then obviously you can use the other one that comes, the B card, to give you an additional 25k because you are going to be playing, I would assume, more than a couple of Blitz orders in this deck. So that's essentially like what puts you at 38k. That's a huge guard for just one card and does more than what the defensive triggers can do. Her first effect is perfect. It's a really strong offensive skill, and then her second defensive skill keeps you in the neutral and lets you protect yourself with the new order. So Veleno is actually a really powerful card, and depending on what future Blitz order support that we get, or just Blitz orders alone that we get for Stoicheas, it's actually going to be really strong. By the way, one thing I do want to say now though is because of how Veleno works, that trial deck Blitz order that we got a long time ago can actually do something now. So if you still have yours, it didn't go to waste, is all I'm going to say. Now before we get too carried away talking about Veleno, we need to look at the support that follows her. So she has 3 new Veleno cards to support with the following ability. We're going to take a look at the grade 1 first, which is Veleno Famiglia Fior. I hope I said that right. She has the following effect of auto, when this unit is placed on rearguard circle, if you have a Vanguard with Lascaria in its card name, counterblast 1. Look at the top 5 cards of your deck, choose up to 1 card with Veleno in its card name or up to 1 Blitz order from among them, reveal it and put it into hand, and shuffle the deck. Now Fior is cool. This is going to be your compression card. I think that being able to check for a Veleno or a Blitz order piece for counterblast 1 is huge. And the reason being is because obviously that means that we have a playset of a card that can compress our deck. Her plus 2000 power buff is cool as well because combined with Veleno's ability, she becomes a 15k attacker or a 15k booster, which means that, like I stated earlier, combined together, this makes a 33k column, if I'm correct, and then you have the critical effect on top of that, which makes it even better. For a generic support piece for a new archetype, this is really strong. Now for the grade 2, we have Veleno Famiglia Melial with the following ability. Auto, when this unit is placed on rearguard circle other than during the battle phase, if you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Lascaria in its card name, cost, discard a card from your hand. Choose a card with a different card name from this unit from your drop, call it to rearguard circle if it is a grade 3 or less unit card with Veleno in its card name, and put it into hand if it is a Blitz order. This is a free discard 1, get a superior call, and get a Blitz order to your hand. And the one thing I will say now that I've been noticing about all these Veleno cards, outside of, like, I think Fior, this entire deck is free. Like, that's crazy. This whole deck is free so far. Veleno doesn't have a CB, the Riot line doesn't have a cost to it except the discard, but we already discussed the Riot Cyclers and you recuperating your card advantage, the defensive skill to draw more cards. This entire archetype is free. That is crazy. There's so many things you can do with this and so many, like, heavy counterblast cards you can play. I like decks like this because now we can put the more expensive cards in decks like these when they're entirely free. We still have the grade 3 to look at, but this card essentially is a recycler piece. Get a body back onto the board or get back your Blitz orders that you played to the prior turn to reset for next turn. So far, this deck is pretty solid. I like what I'm seeing. We finally have one more Veleno piece before I get my final thoughts on the deck. The last card is Veleno Caporigium Eriphis. I think that's how you say this. Okay, so he has the following ability of auto rearguard circle once per turn. At the end of the battle, your grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Lascaria in its card name attack. If your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, cost counterblast 1. Stand this unit, and if you have 3 more units of Veleno in their card name, this unit gets power plus 5000 until end of the turn. Yes! Perfect! They gave Veleno multi-attack. Oh, thank God. We don't want another Cristiano situation on our hands. Thank God for this. Okay, this card is going to be your beat stick restanding unit for the deck. So Veleno has essentially 5 attacks if you have this in the front. Combined with her ability though, she'll give 5k to your entire board. This deck's 5k to itself. She's got a crit. This is a really good deck so far. And because this is the only card out of the Veleno archetype that actually costs any sort of resource, besides the Blitz order being an Energy Blast of 2 and the grade 2 being a discard from hand, this is going to be your main attacking piece for this deck and is fantastic. Now, overall for Veleno, I really think that this is going to be a solid B tier deck. I'm giving this deck a B tier because I like the effect, I like the applications of the Blitz order. I think it's going to be really unique to see how this deck operates, but what really is going to take this deck to the next level is another wave of Blitz orders that we have. So far, looking at the key Blitz orders you'll probably use with this deck shown before, and I'll show them back up again here, it seems to me that all of these Blitz orders are going to focus around keeping your card advantage up and then protecting your units like they should. The Blitz order that Veleno has does let you stack more Blitz orders into the turn, which is nice, and it gives you 20k shield to one of your units because it pumps it up by 20k, so therefore it's like a 20k shield. You get to recuperate that card advantage. Also, it takes up energy instead of your counterblast or soul blast. So once again, the more expensive Blitz orders we can, keep in our arsenal, like one or two of, and then we can play the more heavy counterblast cards that would actually be beneficial for this deck. I think the one thing that is a little bit holding this deck back, however, is 5k power. The entire board is cool. We've got two units that get power on their own. We have Blitz order for defense. I just think the fact that, this deck, I don't know. It's one of those things where I'm looking at it and it feels like something is missing. I feel like just off alone, it's going to be very reliant on Aeriphis. If you don't draw into Aeriphis, you don't have multi-attack, and then I don't think there's any ultimate multi-attack generic pieces for Stoicheas. So Aeriphis is going to be a huge key piece to your offense, but then again, it's like you have Meliel, and then with Meliel, it's essentially another copy of Aeriphis. So you have targets. Outside of the Vanguard, giving 5k to your entire board that is Veleno, the entire deck is going to have to be pretty much pure, but all of these cards are really strong on their own, so I'm not upset with that. Some really cool generic pieces that you can take advantage of for this deck that may or may not help is you can obviously play the Blitz order set for Stoicheas, which lets you search out that B card, which is another form of compression. Morpho is a really good card you can use because she'll be a 10k gainer, so she'll be a 20k beat stick, and she can search your deck out directly for a Blitz order or a normal order if you've already had Blitz orders in drop, which you will. There's a lot of routes this deck can go. It's going to be really interesting, but I really do think that this is fantastic what they're doing. I like the fact that every single nation is getting some form of defensive deck coming their way. You have Lyrical Monasterio with Sienna, you have Direful Dolls, which for Dark States, which we just talked about, and now Stoicheas has this. And this is a real deck this time compared to being on Shieldfish and using the Blitz orders for support. It's not a real thing, but Dragon Empire is probably going to be next with this defensive skill. I think Dragon Empire is going to be the first deck that actually picks up the Counterblast one to blow something up. That'll be pretty cool to see. I know I went on a rant there, guys, but I'm really excited for this. Tell me your thoughts about Veleno in the comment section below, as well as what you guys think about this deck moving forward. With that being said, I am your host, Prime Vanguard. I'll catch you later. Peace.